thought this was an interesting conversation, so I'm gonna let the video rock, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Explained why 90s kids think differently than Gen Z. The games you played as a kid literally rewired your brain. Here's what changed.
Okay.
He said children in the 90s played games that forced the brain to fail and try again. Mario, Sonic, Prince of Persia. You had 3 lives, no saves, no hints. When you lost, you learned patience, planning, and frustration tolerance. Today, many games guide kids step by step.
Cheat codes.
Auto save every 10 seconds and remove real challenge. Tetris, Doom, Quake, Zelda, you had no map, no path arrows. You remembered layouts, patterns, secrets. Scientists now show that these games strengthened the hippocampus, the part of the brain for memory and navigation. Modern games often give glowing lines, GPS arrows, voice assistance. Kids follow instruction instead of figuring out.
What up? I wanted to know if you knew the creator. Oh no, it's Alex. He took a few jabs at you. Nah, I don't know who that is. You're allowed to dislike me. I don't care. A lot of people don't like me. And here I am, 18 years later. Let's see if they're here in 18 years. You're allowed to dislike me. It don't bother me. What was I about to say? All right, let's get back to this shit though. He fuck with you, just said some of your takes are spotty. Oh, that's fair. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. Hey, my main thing has always been like, just don't call me out my fucking name. Don't be calling me like a bitch or some shit like that. You want to talk crazy, we can talk crazy. But like, if somebody disagree with me, that's cool. That shouldn't bother me. We allowed to have different opinions. Different people have different thought processes, and that's what makes the world beautiful. Just keep the conversation cute is all I ask. And keep in mind, like, never forget we talk about video games. That's all what I always. Like, nah, shout out to him. He allowed to disagree with me. I don't give a fuck. What was I about to say? So let's go back to what she was saying in this video. I completely agree with this shit. This is factual. I think this is the video game equivalent of basically everybody gets a trophy. That's something that we've seen in the real world. Over the last 20 years, I've watched it as I've gotten older. Like, matter of fact, a great example is like I saw a video of a teacher saying that like they don't even fail students anymore. Like, you have to pass them because the parents like bitch and moan and all that shit. And they don't want to get into it, so students just get passed, and that's how you end up with grown ass adults who don't know how to fucking read. So shout out to Kai Sinat, who brought reading back. Nobody was reading before him. So like, I think this is like the video game equivalent. This is like the video game equivalent of that. It makes total sense. Older games were harder. That's not what I feel. That's not any before you. If you feel like you about to get in your feelings, relax, breathe. That is a fucking fact. As somebody who's lived through every era of video games, except for the old nigga era with the ColecoVision and the Atari, that was Flock and Siggy and shit and my parents. But my first console was the original NES, which came out in '89. I was born in '90. And from then, I've tried out I've either owned or tried out every console, and then I got into PC gaming. As someone who's watched the industry literally evolve, without a doubt, gaming has gotten easier as a whole. Now, are there exceptions? Sure. Souls games are hard. Silk Song is a game that came out last year, a Metroidvania. It's hard. But as a whole, gaming has gotten easier. Those are anomalies, man. Even like a matter of fact, I can use Call of Duty as a great example. A lot of y'all aren't old enough to remember the old Call of Duty. In the old Call of Duties, you used to have to pick up med packs off the wall. Not only did you have to navigate the level, but you had to pick up med packs off the wall or you wouldn't heal. I don't think it was until maybe like Modern Warfare, the original one. I could be wrong. I think that was the one when they introduced auto healing. Okay, so so like Call of Duty used to be a lot harder. Imagine playing the hardest difficulty, veteran, with no fucking auto healing, bruh. You got games like Battletoads. And also, to be fair, to add context too, some games were harder for the simple fact they had to be harder. Because a lot of you might not notice, but a lot of older games, there was no save file. Not only was there no auto, but there was no save. And it was because there was no memory on the cartridge. There wasn't enough memory. So a lot of times what you had to do is you either had to beat the game in one go, or the game a lot of games later would implement a password system. So let's say a game has 10 levels. and you made it to level 3 and then you died, it would give you a password. You would have to like write it down and then you enter the password on your next run. So then you start at like level 3. So like there was some of that, but overall games are still harder because they didn't hold your hand. To the point where like there's been a few times where I played some retro games on stream and I thought to myself, I was like, yo, is this game like Jak 2 is the first one that comes to mind. Oh, the big yawn. You speaking? I heard you. What's up, dude? I don't know if y'all heard that. He said, oh, nigga said, talk to me. I wish I could get a bag of chips. Jak 2 is a game that comes to mind off rip, bruh. I remember when I streamed that years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, did I get worse at games or is this shit hard as fuck? That one mission in the water area where all the soldiers are coming, that shit made me lose it, bro. I was like, how the fuck did I beat this as a fucking kid, man? So I think it's because developers just expected you to overcome it. Nowadays, I think one of the reasons why games are much easier, to be fair to Gen Z, because like I do think a lot of you niggas are stupid. And don't say you're not, because you guys used to eat Tide Pods. Yeah, we didn't forget. You're the Dax. Oh shit. Besides wearing our old clothes, because I'm a millennial, wearing our old clothes and listening to our old music and using the Y2K aesthetic trying to be us, that's what you guys are known for, eating Tide Pods. I think, to be fair also to Gen Z, one of the reasons why games got easier is not just that like more people are illiterate, but also I think it has more to do with greed and money. Now you can buy your way to a win. I don't think that has anything to do with trying to hold the player's hand. And it has everything to do with the corporation just wants to fucking make money, unfortunately. You know, back in the day, you bought the game and they just hoped that they generated more sales off of word of mouth and advertisements. Now, like, they want you to buy the game, the microtransactions, and X, Y, and Z. A lot of it is artificially difficult because of poor design. Some of it, yeah, I said that earlier. Some of it is artificial. But then other stuff isn't. One thing I will agree with this video is like, I don't think it was artificial difficulty that older games were harder to navigate. I think that was more of they expected the player to learn and adapt. Versus now, I mean, High Guard's a great example. High Guard is a great example. You got a lot of people that didn't even make it out of the tutorial. They like, TikTok we're going to have a conversation about this 20 years. TikTok has fucked up a lot of y'all brain, unfortunately. If a lot of y'all cannot even watch a video without it having Subway Surfers on it. And if it don't, what I'm saying, if it don't apply, let it fly. But there's a reason why that format has become popular. You become so overstimulated. A lot of you grew up with iPads. Like, you feel like you need these things to function. So like, it's hard to even get through a tutorial where you got to listen and learn the mechanic. You didn't even give the game a chance. This shit's boring. Is it boring, or do you have a low attention span? Yeah, I seen the Epstein stuff with the microtransactions. We already talked about that. Are WWE 2K players in the same boat as ball and gun gamers? I don't really have an opinion on WWE gamers. I don't really think about them too much. Because if you do, then you got to think about niggas diapers with baby oil. And that's not really something I want to think about. But they're doing something. They're doing something. That's beside the point, though. Them niggas said, "Oh, we about to get on an island, butt ass naked, and wrestle each other." I don't know, man. That new WWE mode sounds a little Epstein-y. I don't really fuck with that shit. People like DSP are the reason why games need to tell the player how to solve something instead of trusting the player to figure it out. But I feel like when you hold people's hands too much, then people start to regress. Like, part of being an artist is just having to accept that not everybody's going to understand your painting. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of game design nowadays is designed around the concept of, it should be designed around the concept of a picture's worth 1,000 words, but now they're designing it around the concept of this picture's worth 25 words. And if you figure out these 25 words, you learn to enunciate them and use them in conversation, you can have fun too. And I prefer the older style, like somewhere in the middle, actually. Somewhere in the, don't throw shade on us. We don't want it, TBH. Yo, y'all did that. Y'all did that. We're not gonna slide past. That's why a lot of y'all in the chat are laughing, because some of y'all probably forgot that. I didn't forget, because when y'all motherfuckers was eating Tide Pods, I was an adult, okay? I'm 35 years old. So I was either in my I was probably mid-20s when that became a trend. Motherfuckers was eating Tide Pods and doing devious licks. You mean robbing people? Because that's what it is. Yeah, we ain't gonna forget. We on y'all ass. It ain't funny now. Now y'all 30, getting to your 30s, damn near. But yeah, I kind of halfway agree with this. I think it's an interesting conversation, but it doesn't really amount to anything. We just shooting, having fun. I knew better than to try them shits out. Y'all was choking on. I forgot about that. The cinnamon challenge. Yeah, y'all was deep throating Tide Pods and cinnamon. Man, give it up for Gen Z, man. Did anybody in the chat who's Gen Z? Did you deep throat cinnamon and a Tide Pod at the same time? A cinnamon coated Tide Pod? Did y'all do that? Shout out to y'all, man. Keep fighting a good fight. Other news. We got a new Resident Evil trailer. It's like a live action one. I don't know if this is 3 minutes. 3 minutes of no gameplay. Let's check it out. Fuck it. We ain't got nothing else to watch. He said ain't no way.
Like this. I used to think we were lucky.
Some people still got the burn from the ice bucket challenge. To be fair with the ice bucket challenge, that was a millennial thing. I remember that. To be fair with the ice bucket challenge, wasn't that to bring awareness to a disease, from my understanding? From my understanding, that's what it was about. It was for a good cause. Yeah, ALS or whatever it's called. Yeah. So like there was a purpose behind it. Y'all were just eating Tide Pods, so it's not the same thing. So it was for a good cause. Also, with the ice bucket challenge, it didn't really harm anybody. It just made you cold. You put on a towel, take a hot shower, like you'll be okay. It didn't really harm anybody. So that's not comparing. It's not the same. Y'all was eating. It is what it is, man. That's y'all legacy. Y'all was eating Tide Pods. I'm trying to compare that. I remember I got a lot of hate because I didn't do that shit like back in the day. I remember I got challenged a couple times by some users that shit, and I was like, I'm not pouring up. I still support you.
I thought we had it all.
What the hell?
A simple house. Good life.
Crate challenge was peak stupidity. Y'all was iPods, cinnamon, and I forgot about that. Y'all was doing that crate challenge. Damn.
Sunday morning.
That crate challenge was busting a lot of heads.
Afternoons at the park.
The gentrified Harlem Shake.
Story time.
That's the legacy.
It was our perfect little world.
And then the zombies attacked.
Then it started. First the sirens.
Cinnamon challenge was y'all shit. Don't put that on.
No.
No. Look at here we go into revisiting. Yo, millennials were not doing the cinnamon challenge. No, that is on y'all. It is. Yes, we're going to put it on you. My age bracket was not doing the cinnamon challenge.
Yes.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Due to the
Hell nah.
outbreak, you were advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station. Food and medical supplies will be provided to everyone in need.
And the screams.
Yo, shout out to Plump with the sub. Appreciate it.
And then silence. And I learned something I never wanted to know. How fast everything you love can go.
Said my generation was bang on people's doors and run off. Yeah, Ding Dong Ditch. Yeah, we used to play Ding Dong Ditch back in the day. That shit was fun. Whole head shit. This really is a Last of Us intro. I apologize. This serves no purpose, man. When does this game come out? This serves no purpose. I feel like this is a waste of money. Just show us some gameplay. February. Oh, it's at the end of the month. We still got time. Good. Some good news for Call of Duty. Call of Duty gets anti-cheat upgrades for Season 2 and Ranked Play. In a new blog post, the publisher says its top priority is launching Ranked Play with the strongest protections possible to ensure matches are decided by player skill and not exploits. Part of this is focusing on targeting unapproved third-party hardware, such as the Cronus, Zen, and the Matrix devices. Now, it only took for Black Ops 7 to fall out of best-selling games of the year for you guys to finally do it. But do you see what happens when you stop supporting things that you don't like? All of a sudden, Activision knows how to deal with the Chronos device. They figured out a way to stop the Zens, chat. Why did I bring this article up? Because personally, I don't give a fuck. I don't play Call of Duty. The reason I brought this shit up is to show you, 2K community, get off your knees. Stand up. Pick your crown up. Stop buying Ronnie 2K his fucking wigs. He's already got 20 in the closet. Every day he wakes up, opens the closet. Oh, the sun shines through the window. He says, which wig am I going to wear today? That nigga puts a lace front on with the pigtails and says, now how can I exploit my fan base? He's got enough. Stop buying the fucking VC. And maybe they'll do something about this. Yes, fuck Mike Wang and fuck Ronnie 2K on some real shit. Shout out to Flight, man. It's possible. Now, it's not going to 100% stop it, to be fair. I don't think you'll ever be able to 100% stop cheaters. But the point is they're making a valiant effort, which goes to show you it was always possible. But they only seemed to care when people didn't want to play Black Ops 7. Just some food for thought. Just some food for thought. COD is so sad these days, actually catering to their player base. Who would have thought? This isn't real. Twitch, hello? What are you talking about, bro? You okay? Is Black Flame having like an acid trip or some shit like that? You good, bro? What else I got for you? Just a weirdo in the chat? Yeah, we're monitoring him. We're monitoring him. See if you need to send him to the 9 circles. And weird shit. A Star Wars Galactic Racer presents multiple expressions of speed through different vehicles, and pod racing hasn't been left behind. Find out what he said. He said he wants to be banned. What the fuck? I got you. You already on my nerves. Go to hell. Go to hell. I'm gonna send you to all 9 circles. All right. Anyways, the Game Awards 2025 gave us plenty of juicy reveals, but few were as surprising as Star Wars Galactic Racer. That was the pod racer, in case you guys forgot. A spiritual successor to source to the Episode 1 Racer and the overlooked Racer Revenge. It looked stunning, but fans had one fear following its reveal. There were no old school pod racers to be found in the trailer. While that last second Sebulba, however the fuck you announced that, tease already rekindled our hopes and dreams, Fuse Games CEO and co-founder Matt Webster has now confirmed pod racing will return alongside all sorts of other vehicles. You can't really make a Star Wars racing experience and not have pod racing, can you? The core fantasy of the game is becoming an elite racing pilot in the Galactic League, and pod racing is a pinnacle of speed and racing in the Star Wars galaxy, the Criterion vet told Games Radar following the exciting reveal. The question now is whether an older Sebulba, Anakin Skywalker's first nemesis, is the exception among a highly varied roster of racers, or he'll be joined by other known faces that we saw in the Phantom Menace's lengthy Boonta Eve classic scene. Was Sebulba, was he the slave? He was Anakin's master, right? That big ass roach, that ugly ass nigga with the gonzo nose. That was, from what I remember, was that him? No, I don't remember. Who the fuck was this? I have not seen Episode 1 early. I was literally a kid. Oh, I do remember him. I just didn't know his name. Okay, yeah, I remember him. He still looked like a fucking roach. Close enough. That's one of y'all mama. The question now is whether it's an older one. Anakin's first name is blah, 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 blah. Galactic Racer takes place after the fall of the Empire, so it's been decades since pod racing's glory days, but it's time to speak up. Ben Quadinaro stands. I don't even know who the fuck that is, bro. These fucking old ass Star Wars. What the fuck? I don't even know who this is. What we know for sure is that Fuse Games, they're trying too hard to be funny. Fuse Games was looking to reinvent Star Wars racing games without forgetting about their legacy. We wanted to do more to lean into multiple vehicle types and multiple expressions of speed to give players a breadth of experiences. Galactic Racer offers players the ability to pilot vehicles they know and love, alongside ones they won't have experienced before, across a range of solo and multiplayer modes. The mention of several solo and multiplayer modes is interesting here, as we'd only read about a unique runs-based story-driven campaign and regular PvP multiplayer via the materials released so far. As much as we'd love to know more, it's likely we won't be hearing from Fuse Games for a while, blah, 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 but it is supposed to come out later this year. That's good to know that it has a campaign, because I'm not going to lie, I was literally about to ask this before I read it. Does this have a single player story mode? Because if this doesn't have a story mode, I feel like the game is DOA. Like, first of all, pod racing is the early 2000s, like millennial and hardcore Star Wars fans, people who were born later and love Star Wars. But like, it's a very specific fandom within a certain fandom. Star Wars is mainstream, but I feel like pod racing is deep, if that makes sense. So I need a story mode like Diddy Kong Racing, because that's the greatest, and I repeat, greatest kart racer ever created. Such a shame Nintendo never made a sequel. It's like they're afraid of money. They rather do some open world bullshit with Mario Kart. The greatest story in any racing game is fucking Diddy Kong. That shit was fire. Especially with the boss fight at the end. I need a story like that, with real implications on the storyline and shit. But it's got potential. We'll be keeping an eye on it. We'll wait for the gameplay though. Side character after story of the character Tatooine sounds cool. Are there any good story-driven racing games? I haven't. Oh, Diddy Kong's Racing. Diddy Kong Racing. Crash Team Racing, you mean? Crash Team Racing, cool. But, Jack X surprisingly had a good story. I couldn't get into Jack X's gameplay, but I heard the story is fire. I couldn't get into the gameplay, and it was because it was a lot like Jack 3's Racing, because I mean that was what it was, basically a spinoff, and I wasn't a big fan of Jack 3 in the vehicle section. I feel like the vehicles were too floaty and hard to control. But if you like it, we love it. F-Zero. Oh yeah, F-Zero. Yeah, it's got a story. Falcon Punch. But Nintendo hasn't made an F-Zero, and so what is it with Nintendo? They're afraid to make games that people really want. Whether we're talking Star Fox, F-Zero, Diddy Kong Racing. No. Let's make the millionth fucking Mario game or some fucking Breath of the Wild DLC, because that is, and I repeat, that is what Tears of the Kingdom was. Whatever. Anyways, I'm crying that Donald Duck joint hard as fuck. Need for Speed, the Black Box series is a good story. I'll take it. Ubisoft fires developer who criticized the company's return to work mandate. Anime nerds got called out and are mad because some young character from Zenless Zone Zero got a skin with a short skirt riding up her ass and they like it. Are you saying like you're surprised that like the anime community is full of fucking pedophilia? What? Where you been at, nigga? There's a reason anime niggas get made fun of. They swear it's just because they watch anime. Like I watch anime and nobody makes fun of me. Niggas don't shower. And then what I'm about to say, if it don't apply, let it fly. But you been to anime cons? Niggas don't shower. They like that lully shit. There's a certain sector within the anime community. That doesn't surprise me. Niggas is weird. Just gotta stay away from them. Yeah, tell us what we don't know. Them niggas probably play Pokemon too. They make us bad. Ubisoft's Montreal veteran David McCont, who most recently worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows, has confirmed that he was terminated by the company after a 13-year run. While Crump didn't disclose a reason for his dismissal, he spoke out against Ubisoft's return to work mandate in January. Today, I was terminated by Ubisoft effective immediately. He wrote on his LinkedIn account, "This was not my decision. I won't be discussing internal details or circumstances. I'm taking time to regroup and will share next steps when appropriate." Last week, he disclosed that he had been suspended for 3 days without pay. He added that Ubisoft told him that it was related to public comments I expressed regarding the company's return to office policy and based on alleged breach of duty of loyalty. They got a loyalty contract at Ubisoft? Who the fuck would ever be loyal to the company that made fucking Skull and Bones? Yeah, I seen they're putting Snake in Rainbow. I'm still not coming back, bro. Crumb's comments earlier in January were critical of Ubisoft. Well, we've been over that. When reached out for comment by GameSpot, Ubisoft issued the following statement: sharing feedback or opinions respectfully does not lead to being fired. We have a clear code of conduct that outlines our shared expectations for working together safely and respectfully, which employees review and sign each year. When that is breached, our established procedures apply, including an escalation of measures depending on the nature, severity, and repetition of breach. Translation: you're allowed to give feedback to Ubisoft as long as it's positive. Corporate talk. Yeah, they fired him. Critical company. And I'm pretty sure he was aware it was going to happen because they just had a massive layoffs. So they were looking to lay off more people. I would say to this developer, if he ever sees this, you got to take it with a grain of salt and take it, glass half full. On one side, you lost a steady paycheck, but on the other side, you're creatively free. Remember, guys, Expedition 33 was made by former Ubisoft devs. Ubisoft could have had that in there. If Expedition 33 was published by Ubisoft, that would have reinvigorated Ubisoft's portfolio and they would have had a renaissance. But instead, they choose to keep making open world slop. They make Assassin's Creed. They make Assassin's Creed with drugs, aka Far Cry. They make Assassin's Creed with blue people. They make Assassin's Creed Star Wars Edition. They keep making these. Oh, and they make Assassin's Creed with hackers. They keep making the same fucking game with shit all over the fucking map. So to you, I would say, it sucks because you spent 13 years there, but you're free. Free all my niggas, man. Free all my niggas. You'll be all right. Take some time to regroup and think about it. Yeah, they would have destroyed. You're right. They would have destroyed the vision. You're right. Expedition 33 would have not been the same thing. It would have been shit all over the fucking map. Yo, shout out to Nightmare with the $5 super check. He said I'm a little late to the stream, but did you cover the whole Ashes of Creation scam debacle? Nah, I don't know what that is. What is that? Of Creation scam. Ashes of Creation is done. Steven resigned. All employees are let go. The YouTube video. Does it have an article? I don't even know what Ashes of Creation is. What is that? Oh, here we go. MMORPG Ashes of Creation suddenly implodes 52 days after Steam Early Access launch. Fantasy MMO Ashes of Creation is developed by Intrepid Studios. I've never even heard of it. What kind? Is this game? Was it good, chat? I don't even know what the fuck this is. When did this come out? I gotta watch a trailer real quick before we read the article. A rug pull MMO? A fake MMO. I don't know why that's funny, bro. A fake MMO is crazy. Oh shit. We spent millions of dollars to rug pull you niggas. This trailer's from 4 years ago. What the fuck? Early access trailer. Is 100% a rug pull?
Great empires flourished and spread across endless seas.
Been in development since 2017. Damn.
Your people.
What do you mean, you people?
Carved kingdoms from wilderness.
Right? What do you mean?
Perils
You
that
talking about the
lay
blacks?
between.
Black History Month? You people.
For at the heart of this
I can say you better be talking about the border collie.
world lays the essence, magic itself. But this wondrous age of discovery and purpose left few
2015, that's
prepared
even worse.
for the horrors.
They made $3 million off the Kickstarter. Be honest, chat, be honest. Who in the chat donated to the we gonna judge you, but we gonna act like, just for the sake of the joke. We're not gonna judge you. Who donated to the Kickstarter? Because what did I tell you bitch ass niggas about them Kickstarters? In 2026 and beyond, you better not donate to a single fucking Kickstarter. I don't care how good the game is. If the game is good, if the game is finished and it looks good, then buy it. That's how you help the developer. But there's no game on earth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10 commandments that I care about enough where I will fund it. I got burned not once, but twice by Kickstarter games. And I've said it on this stream for the last 10 years. I don't give a fuck what your story is. You decided to make that game, so you figure out how you gonna finish. Go call up some publisher and tell them front the bill. But it won't be me, nigga. It won't be me. Y'all better stop buying these. In this economy, y'all kickstarting games? This is crazy. Fuck a Kickstarter.
For the ancients showed no mercy. Survivors were advised to flee to the divine gates. An age passed before the gates reawakened.
So it has no gameplay. Is there any actual gameplay? Gameplay teaser. There's no game. What the freak? All right, well. Has suddenly imploded with several key members already resigned and mass layoffs incoming. The game's future seems dead. A few hours ago, people started noticing that many employees had changed their LinkedIn status to open for work, including Director of Communications and Marketing, Margaret Cron, who had hinted at the circumstance on LinkedIn. As of how this all ended, I don't really have the words. It wasn't what I expected, but I'm holding on to the good because there was so much of it. Kickstarter slop? Yeah, see, this is a fair case of where you can use the word slop because I feel like that shit gets thrown around too much, but this is Kickstarter slop. More information came to light when finally founder, CEO, and creative director Steven Sharif shared that the following message on the official Ashes of Creation Discord. I can make a limited statement in my personal capacity and not on behalf of the company regarding the situation. Control of the company shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. As a result, I chose to resign and protest rather than lend my name or authority to decisions I could not ethically support. Following my resignation, many of the senior leadership team resigned. Following those departures, the board made the decision to issue WARN Act notices and proceed with a mass layoff. My question is, what are these ethical things that the board wanted to do that he didn't want? Maybe like the board said, hey, let's do a second Kickstarter and I need you guys to promote it. And he was like, nah. You think he's capping? I don't know anything about this story, so I'm just speculating. I'm letting that be known. I don't know shit about it. He is the board. Say it ain't so. He was the only dude on the board? Oh, shit.
Lock him up.
Oh, man.
Lock him up.
This nigga said, so I talked to the board, aka me, and I just couldn't ethically go through what I told myself. So I've decided to resign and resolve the game. Yo, is this Two-Face from Batman? This nigga got multiple personalities just talking to himself in a fucking closet. Such a bitch ass up, bruh. And this shit sucks because, like, jokes aside, people lose their jobs. If what y'all are saying is true, this nigga's crazy. He's a fucking Batman villain, bruh. Nigga in the closet with a burnt face and a fucking pistol talking about, oh, what should we do in our game? Our game? Our game? It's not it is our game. All right, bro. This nigga's the Moon Knight of fucking video games, bro. Shit is crazy. Oh shit! But he's not powered by the moon or Khonshu. Nigga's powered by the fucking L's. That's what he's powered by. The fucking loser. Originally announced in 2016. Wait. Shree says in the statement that the board made a decision that he did not feel comfortable carrying out. However, according to public reference from the state of California, the board includes. Oh, you guys are right. It's right there. Yeah, that's okay. So wait, I'm gonna tell you what he did, right? It's somebody who owns an LLC. Like, it's all public information, right? I think he was banking on the fact that nobody would Google his fucking, whether it's an LLC or S Corp. He was probably banking on nobody looking it up. Like, nigga, you are the CEO. That's fucking funny. All right, well, since we confirmed it, because I wasn't 100%, yeah, it's fuck him. It's fuck him. He's a piece of shit. Originally announced in 2016, Ashes of Creation was funded on Kickstarter the following year, earning $3.2 million in pledges. Entrance Studios has continued selling pre-release access to the game for a long time, and it did not take long for some users to warn that it could be a scam, especially because of the founders passing the shady world of multi-level marketing. Oh, so he was known for doing pyramid schemes, and y'all gave him money on Kickstarter? Chat, that's on y'all. I didn't donate. I just found out about this game today. However, the development team posted regular updates and the game did, so they were playing a role. They were pretending like it was being made. Lock them up, bruh. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, you as the consumer, y'all kind of leaned into this shit. You know what's funny? A couple years ago on the podcast, I did predict you will see a rise in video game scams. I don't feel like this was really a thing when I was a kid, because back then it wasn't as many publishers and developers, and like it wasn't as much competition. So like just put your game out and go about your business. But nowadays, I think you're going to, in the next 10 years, I think you're going to see a lot more scam. Because what's the game that came out like a year or two ago? It was another fake ass game. That open world MMO that was like H1Z1, DayZ. Was it the day before? The shit before, I think. I think it was called the shit before. The Star Citizen sucks too, but I'm talking about the day before. That fake ass game. Yeah, I remember on the podcast when we were talking about that game, I said you're going to see a rise in video game scams in the next 10 years because, unfortunately, the blessing of video game tool. So like Unity is very cheap to use, and then Unreal Engine is completely free until you make X amount of dollars. Then you got to pay royalties, right? But because these tools to build these games are readily available for everybody, anybody can become a game dev tomorrow. Unfortunately, that means scammers are going to try to find a way to go on to the Unreal Engine store, download a few house and dinosaur assets, put a bad bitch with a fat ass in the game, some dinosaurs, give her a gun, and call it Code Violet. It's really that simple because you can just download the assets, bro. Matter of fact, chat, tomorrow I might make Code Red. Like, so like the jokes aside, be aware of this stuff. You guys got to start reading, man. You got to start reading. Hey, I guarantee you if the developers of Code Violet see this shit, they about to block me. And I'm here to let you know, nigga, we don't care. We won't go buy your game anyway. But yeah, you got to be starting being more cognizant. Unfortunately, more access, the democratization of video game development you're going to see a rise in scams. And it's important for you and I to be vigilant and call it out. Shout out to y'all. I was unaware of this story. I'd never even heard of this game, and I sit on this stream and talk about video games all the fucking time. I'd never, and it's probably because there's no gameplay. That's why I never heard of it. I don't trust any studio that their first game is an MMO. No, that's facts. That's facts. I give you that. That is a good. If you're first, with the exception being, if it's a new studio made up of devs who worked on other big games, like let's say like some devs left Ubisoft and formed their own studio, and the first game they're making is an MMO and they got like Nexon to back it, like publish it, then I'll be like, that's a real game. But if it's an indie studio nobody heard of, Paul from Willacoochee, Georgia, opening up Willacoochee Games, and he's like, I'm making an MMO. I wouldn't trust that shit, bro. I wouldn't trust that shit. That is a good way of putting it. Welcome to Willacoochee Games. We're gonna be making Ford F-150 simulator. We're gonna do missions delivering Uber in the Ford F-150. We're gonna say racial. We're gonna do a mission where we do racial slurs on Twitter. I don't know what I'm talking about, chat. Sorry. Other news. Skyrim lead praises Todd Howard for trying desperately not to micromanage and be a bottleneck, even though he still does what he calls seaguling, where he swoops in and he changes things. Todd Howard is getting some praise. In a new interview with Pressbox PR, Bethesda veteran and Skyrim lead designer Bruce Nesmith has gone over his time at the studio addressing topics like why it wouldn't make sense to switch to the Unreal Engine. What is with Bethesda in this fucking 40-year-old engine that they're using? I don't get it, man.
Well, I make a new engine. We can just update it, put some glue and some fucking duct tape and a Band-Aid on it.
Anyways, one of the questions he asks is about the studio head Todd Howard and how the public perception of him differs from the man he worked with for decades. Well, you have to tell me what you think the public perception of him is, he says Nesmith. I've known the man for a long time. For me, to see the forest of trees is a little difficult. I can tell you candidly that when working at Bethesda up through the Skyrim days, Todd is probably one of the best bosses I've ever had. I can also tell you he's keenly aware of the fact that he's a bottleneck and he works his ass off not to do that. Unfortunately, he doesn't succeed very well. Nesmith is keen to emphasize that this isn't about mismanagement or something where he is being an org about it. It's part of the culture of the studio and that is extremely difficult to get away from because it's baked into how things are done, even though he tries desperately not to. He does what he calls seaguling, where he swoops in and changes things, and it still happens. Nesmith says that this has been seen in the context of Bethesda games, which are obviously large-scale projects within tones of moving parts. When you build games as big as Bethesda games, Todd was very good about saying, I care about this and that and this and this, and he spends a lot of time and attention on those things, says Nesmith. We're left to go on our own way. Not that he wouldn't come in and have to approve the work, but he would give a lot of leeway. I mean, he cut your check, so naturally, well, he was cutting your checks. Naturally, you're going to be a lot nicer. That being said, Todd Howard doesn't seem like a terrible person. From interviews I've seen, videos, he seems like a nice dude. You got to understand, the reason why people don't like him is he tends to overpromise and underdevelop. And if I had the clips on hand, I would show them, but I forgot to do it. But there's plenty of clips I'm sure you can find of him promising things, features that were going to come in a game. And then not only are they not in the game, he doesn't even address them. So understand that people don't dislike him because people think he's like a piece of shit and he's an asshole that's just on social media disparaging his fans. It's more so like he's got to learn to shut the fuck up, bro. Let the game speak for himself. Like Peter Milo. Yeah, like that Peter dude who did the Milo game. It's just he's got to stop overpromising. It's like I don't think he's a bad dude, to be fair to him. Fallout 76 glitches on launch. Yeah. I'd go as far as to say he says that he likes that they don't micromanage at Bethesda. I go as far as to say Todd needs to be micromanaging Bethesda at its current state. You guys released Redfall. You guys are going back to back on L's. You released Redfall, which was a piece of, and then you released Starfield afterward, which was the most painfully mid-space game that I've ever seen. I think what sucked about Starfield is it was a space game. In space, you're only limited by your imagination. And somehow, some way, Bethesda created the most uninspired space game that I've ever played. And it's really hard to play Starfield if you played Mass Effect. I feel like the only people who defend Starfield are people who never played Mass Effect. Then it might seem okay. It might seem okay. So I'm gonna need y'all to get it together because your next big game is Blade. And I'm here to let you know, if you fuck up Blade, we're gonna riot. We already didn't get the Blade movie. They talking about putting them in some group movie. Fuck that. We wanted a solo. So when the game come out, it better be fucking good. But I would argue Bethesda these days needs to be micromanaged because one of the biggest problems with Bethesda, besides Starfield being uninspired, their games are full of bugs and glitches. Notoriously, Bethesda's been known for letting their fans mod and fix their games. And maybe he needs to be a little bit more hands-on because optimization has been the reoccurring theme. The two biggest reasons I believe people don't like Bethesda right now is the lack of optimization for their games and Todd Howard overpromising. You clean those things up, Bethesda be straight. Wait, Bethesda's making Blade? They are. Specifically, so they're publishing it. Specifically, Arcane is making it. So the team that made what's this? I always forget it. The shit with Corvo. God damn it. Corvo. Video game. Dishonored. I only ever, because his name always stood out to me. I thought it was really cool. I always remember Corvo, but I can't remember Dishonored for some reason. And I love these games. That's the crazy part. So yeah, Arcane, the team that made Dishonored, and then what was the Deathloop, the game with the black characters? They made Deathloop as well. Arcane isn't under the Bethesda umbrella. So Arcane's making it, but Todd, his hands will be on. He'll be keeping his eye on it, basically. So the main thing I'd be worried about, because I do feel like Arcane is my favorite studio within the Bethesda umbrella. The main thing I'd be worried about with Blade is I'm worried, A, it's going to be uninspired, and then B, the optimization. Because Arcane games, like other Bethesda games, they tend to launch on PC pretty shaky. When I say the uninspired part, specifically, I mean, as much as I love Dishonored, I do feel like Deathloop was Dishonored 2.5. I feel like they wanted to make another Dishonored game, and then halfway through development, they was like, what if we made Corvo black? Granted, it does have its own unique story with like time travel and shit, but the gameplay is identical in my opinion. And I just feel like at some point during Dishonored 3's development, they were like, man, let's make them black. And I was like, I think that's why Deathloop didn't resonate with me. I was like, I expected more from this. They also made Prey. I'll give you that. Prey was fire. I'll give you that. The recent one. You said, dang, you right? Like the teleport animation is literally Corvo. That shit is Dishonored with black people. But I don't feel like Deathloop's story resonated with me as well as Dishonored's story. I need y'all to stick this landing with Blade. Nioh 3 may land on other consoles after PC and PS5, new trailer suggests. According to a features trailer posted to the PlayStation's official YouTube channel on January 29th, Team Ninja's upcoming Souls-like game will be allowed to be released on other platforms 6 months after PC and PS5 debut on February 6th. The language is quite specific. Nioh will not be available on other consoles until at least 6 months after February 6, 2026. This means the latest Souls-like action RPG from the Japanese developer could land on Xbox and maybe even Nintendo consoles as soon as August. I don't believe this shit is coming to Nintendo because it's M-rated. They just put out Dispatch and censored the fuck out of it. I don't think it's coming to the Switch too. What this story means is basically it's coming to the Xbox in 6 months. So now you know. Said Nioh 3 isn't already. Nope, it's only launching on PC and PS5. I'll be playing on PC. So yeah, now you know. If you don't know, now you know, nigga. And then speaking of Black History Month, last but not least, I couldn't believe this shit news. Minecraft announced on their official account, want to change the world in real life? Start in Minecraft. That's a little contradiction. In the free Good Trouble DLC, explore global civil rights. And you know, I'm such an asshole. This first sentence is a fucking contradiction, but the average Minecraft fan is too fucking stupid to know that, so they're not gonna know. Long as they got enough dedicated wham on their server, they're not gonna know any better. But anyways, in the Good Trouble DLC, explore global civil rights movements, meet change makers, and learn how to stand up, speak out, and build a better world. Translation, because they don't really actually talk about Black history and what happened. Translation, they added Martin Luther King DLC because they don't talk about actual Black history. They only talk about, and even when they talk about Martin Luther King, they don't actually talk about Martin Luther King. They talk about I have a dream. They don't talk about how he said he wants to redistribute the wealth, because back in the 60s, he was talking about the economic disparagements between the poor and the rich back in the 60s. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about how Dr. King, before he died, he says, I feared, and I'm paraphrasing, I feared I led my people into a burning house. He was talking about segregation, desegregation, possibly being a mistake because it fooled. Y'all not ready for that conversation. I'm gonna just play this. Martin Luther King DLC. They got her at the front of the bus. Let's go. Oh my fucking god. I feel like, so like, to be fair, as somebody who's in tune with Black culture and just, all right, so in case y'all don't know anything about me, let me tell y'all something, because I don't think I've ever said this on stream. My top 5 human beings to ever live, probably Malcolm X at 1, number 2, Fred Hampton, number 3, Huey P. Newton, number 4, Stokely Carmichael, number 5, probably Muhammad Ali. Matter of fact, I might bump Muhammad. I might put him at 3. That's my top 5. I know my shit, bro. And I can talk about other people too. I feel like their heart's in the right place when they do this stuff. But unless you're going to take the time to educate people about actual Black history instead of just creating some feel-good moment, because real Black history don't feel good, nigga. Yeah, let's talk about it. Don't get me wrong. We done great things that were great. We also need to talk about other stuff. You said it's a great list. You said Huey from the Boondocks? No, nah. Shut the fuck up. No, not no Huey from the Boondocks. That's who he's based off. I'm talking about the real Huey P. Newton. Unless you're gonna educate people about redlining, gerrymandering, veterans fighting in World War I and II, then coming home and not being able to reap the benefits of the what's the bill? The GI Bill, which allowed Black veterans to, or veterans as a whole, go to school for free. Or they also post World War II, they handed out every veteran basically vouchers to get homes. If you're not going to talk about that stuff, if you're not going to talk about how Manhattan in New York was a Black neighborhood that got flooded out, yeah, the Tuskegee experiment. If you're not going to talk about that shit, shut the fuck up. That's how I feel personally. Either tell the truth or be quiet. You're not going to talk about how by the way, I've never been suicidal. if you're not going to talk about how your United States government assassinated Fred Hampton in his sleep like pussies, couldn't even get into a real shootout with a nigga. Yeah, Black Wall Street getting burned down and bombed. The bombing in Philadelphia in the 80s. Y'all look it up. Y'all know that your government bombed a neighborhood in the 80s in Philadelphia? You said taught? Murdered Fred Hampton in his sleep. Y'all know why they murdered Fred Hampton? Y'all know? A few reasons. They used to call him the Black Messiah. It's a really good movie. It's dramatized, it's entertainment, but you get the gist of the story. They murdered Fred Hampton because with the Black Panther Party, they were offering free medical, not training, but care for the Black community. They were offering food programs. And towards the end of his life, he started something called the Rainbow Coalition. You don't know what this is? Look this up. This is a true thing. They used to call, the FBI called Fred Hampton the Black Messiah because he started something called the Rainbow Coalition. What that was is he got together the Latinos in the city, Black people, the poor whites, the trailer trash, the blue collar, and every marginalized group. And he had a meeting. And he said, let's put our differences aside. What can we agree on? The government said that. They saw that. They said, oh no, get him out of here. They said, get him out of here. Get him the fuck out of here. So me personally, I feel like, oh yeah, that's another one. How the CIA flooded the Black neighborhood with crack cocaine to flood the Contra wars in South America. And now we're back in South America destabilizing Venezuela. If you're not going to talk about that, if you're not going to talk about this stuff, you don't need to be doing it. I remember I talked about it. I think I said this on stream one time. This is back in maybe like 20. Twitch reached out to me and asked me to participate in a Black History Month video. They asked me like 10 questions. Who are some of my favorite people? I answered all these questions. They said you would be in. Yeah, Lake and Lanier. You would. Ronald Reagan's the devil. They asked me a bunch of different questions, and I gave answers like the things that I'm talking about, and they cut all the footage out. And they only left in a joke I made at the end. That shit made me so fucking mad. So here we go. I've never been suicidal. So once again, although I think I feel like people's heart is in the right place, unless we're gonna have a real conversation, I wish y'all would stop doing that shit. Just don't do it at all. You know what I would, matter of fact, I'll let this shit slide. You know what I do? Because these corporations will do everything but they'll do everything but help the community. I would let goofy shit like this slide, as well as that goofy shit they do in Halo every year when they show them African fucking skins. Master Chief with an African skin. I would let this shit slide if they put this DLC out, they charge for it, right? And every sale made towards a Black History Month DLC, video game item or whatever, goes to some type of charity or some type of neighborhood in the Black community to help people. If y'all not gonna do that, shut the fuck up, bruh. Because I'm tired. I know I'm on my pedestal right now. Me at 35, I'm fucking tired of symbolism. I want equity. And that's what Malcolm X warned everybody against. The man, you know who, will award you with a piece of symbolism, an idea. They'll prop up a special Negro, but will they actually help you? Because economics is the real issue. It's the root of all the problems. You said, nah, talk your shit. So I would let all this goofy ass shit slide if all the sales for this DLC charge $10. Any corporation listed, nigga, charge $10 for your Black History Month DLC, $5, whatever it is. Nigga, I'd buy this shit. And say, this is going towards providing clean water in Flint, Michigan. Then that's something I can get behind. But if you ain't trying to help nobody, shut the fuck up, bro, with this feel. This shit, let me tell y'all something, bro. People are like, what's my politics? I'm pro-Black. That's my fucking politics. This shit is not helpful to you and I. Most y'all are Black and brown in the chat. This is some performative shit to make them. But it doesn't make me or anybody in my community feel. Yeah, matter of fact, put it towards an HBCU. That's facts. That's facts. All DLC sales go towards funding the HBCU of your choice. Then we talking. Let me see some of that money go to Howard. Let me see some of that money go to Pine Bluff because they need it. Oh my Lord. You said my kind of carry on. I apologize for going on a tangent. I'm very passionate about that shit, bro. I'm very. There's There's a reason why I don't take a lot of checks, man. To my own detriment. For black neighborhoods, schools, I think HBCUs is like an easy direction to point, and that is a good suggestion, bro. But all this stuff is goofy, bro. I'm fucking sick of this shit, man. We gotta start speaking like, shut the fuck up. If I had a consulting company, matter of fact, Minecraft called me. I'm gonna give y'all some good PR. It's Black History Month. Deal with it. It's Black History Month. Move, bitch. Get the fuck out of my way. I seen that meme. You said never apologize. We never gonna apologize for what the fuck we naturally are. So I know Watts rated me. I know Girl rated me. Some people are probably in my stream for the first time like, what the fuck is going on? I said what I said. And before we get on the game, I just want to say, because I feel like it gets lost in translation, me being pro-black does not mean I'm anti everything else. I got love for everybody. As long as you respect me, I respect you. But we gonna get what we owed.